Hey, everybody, welcome to Making Sense of It All. We are featuring the Tin Cup Club this week. And ladies and gentlemen, it is Masters Week. Wes, thank you so much for joining me.
Great to be on, and it's my favorite week of the year. So let's get into this.
Nice. Mike Padron, as always, thank you very much for joining me, the El Padrino of the Tin Cup Club.
Yes, sir. I appreciate being here, man. Like Wes said, it doesn't get any better like this, better than this in the world of golf.
All right, so as always, when we're doing these episodes, we're starting with what you drinking. So, what you got in your hand, Mike?
I've got, since I figured it was the goat of golf tournaments, it's the goat in my office. It's the Blanton's Gold.
Nice.
There you
Nice.
go. I actually bought that in Turks and Caicos for way too
Nice.
much.
From
But
from all the way, way north in Kentucky, you got it
right,
down in
yeah,
Turks and
exactly.
Caicos.
Bought it in Turks and Caicos. But yeah, I mean, it's just a smooth as butter, man. I love this stuff. The Blanton's, all of them, but the gold just hits different.
Nice.
hmm
My Wes, what you drinking?
I went to my trusty because my bourbon collection's on the low, so I got my Buffalo Trace kicking today.
Very cool. So I've been kind of making my way through the world of this whiskey tour that my wife got me in, and today I've got an Austrian whiskey. It's from Home Whiskey Distillery. So, cheers,
Nice.
boys.
You always got the weird ones,
Cheers.
man.
Not the best pour.
You're not going to go do Austrian distillery tours anytime soon?
No, sir. I think I'll stick with the American stuff. Maybe the Irish version when I need
Not the best pour.
it. So, first question right off the bat. It's Masters Week. Everyone gets excited about it. You know, sometimes I think people get, hyped up for something, but is it all it's cracked up to be? Do you think the Masters is, everything that people say it is, Wes?
Yes. Yes. But one word answer. Yes. It is everything. I think what the allure of it is you know the holes, you know the histories on the holes, you know what shots were hit. And then Augusta National always does something. They shave a little back part of the green or add a little hump here or take something away. And they change the course a little bit, but not so much where it's a completely different hole or stretch of holes. So there's just so much nostalgia to it. I absolutely love it.
Mike, what do you think?
I agree. I mean, yes, for sure. It's everything it's cracked up. And it's the reason it's the biggest hype of the year for the world of golf. I mean, it's going into it. I think what lends itself to that too is the kind of like the mystique. It's impossible to play. I mean,
Mhm.
and not only that, it's very hard to even go watch. So it's just like the mystery of the whole thing. Like everybody talks about it when they come back. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you got to go there and you got to watch. You got to see this. You got to see that." And you're like, "Man, that's all I want to do." Like, so and everybody goes in there with the highest expectations. My brother-in-law and my sister got to go last year for a practice round, and they went in with the highest expectations you can possibly go to a golf tournament in your life, and they were blown away. And that alone is just, man, you can't go there with any higher expectations. And for them to still blow you away, and just they said every blade of grass is exactly where it's supposed to be. And I think also what for the tournament itself, what helps is that it's at the same venue every year.
Right.
Um, of the majors, at least, obviously every other tournament, most of them are in the same venue, but that's what it kind of makes it unique in that manner, where it's you know the holes, like what Wes said, and you know the shots. You know, as soon as that ball t takes off and you see the shot tracer, you're like, that's not going to be good. I mean, I've never played it, but I know exactly that's not supposed to be where it's going because you've seen it 100 times. So it's yes, I mean it's everything it's meant to be, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, it's funny. For whatever reason, I always think about Disney World when I think about it because it's like it's a destination for a lot of people. It's something different. People look at it with a, almost that, it's kind of a magical place type of a feeling to it. And it's like I think about the like even when you watch it on television and it's when you watch people hit iron shots or when you hear the sound of the golf club, there's such a huge echo with most of the shots, and it's just like it's almost like an amphitheater with the way that the sounds come off on television. It doesn't sound like any other tournament on television, I think. um And it, like you said, I mean, to me, it shows on television so well. I mean, the colors around the place pop. It looks like, I mean, you've got the absolutely brilliant green fairways, right up against the pine straw and the azaleas. I mean, it's just it's curated. I mean, the one year that they did it
Yeah.
in November, I always think that it was almost like kind of getting a backlot tour in a little way because it was like, hold on a second here. None of the azaleas are popping. It just wasn't that same shade of green. Like it didn't look like springtime. It's like
Yeah.
the Masters is in April for a reason, in my opinion. If you
Yes. Yeah, I think with it being in April, like especially, I mean, we're fortunate enough in Florida, we don't have golf season. It's golf season all the time. But
100%.
April's like for the Northeast, man, this is like their kickoff. Like, all right, golf season's on, and we get to tune into the Masters and just see all the best players in the world playing this phenomenal, phenomenal layout. I mean, I think it's like the perfect fit in April, and it gets all the flowers blooming in the right direction, and uh, yeah, it's perfection.
100%.
And you're
Mike, you
right the
ever
way yeah, you're right the way it pops is that it's almost like putting the Masters as high definition TV
Hmm.
and all the other tournaments are just regular standard definition. It just is something different. And not only, Jesse, you hit it right on the head. Like, not only is it the picture, it's the sound.
Mhm.
Every shot just has a different sound, and the patrons sound different. The birds chirping, like it's like everybody always accuses them of pumping in sound. Like I don't know if it was ever proven or not, but
If they do, it works.
it sounds fake. It sounds like there's no way this place is here, and it's just it's crazy just to watch it and listen to it and everything about it.
No doubt. Have you ever been, Mike?
Never, unfortunately.
What
I almost
about you,
like
Wes?
go ahead.
Yeah, I got to go to my first Masters last year. I was grateful enough. One of my students gave me a call a week or two before. He's like, "You want to go to the Masters?" I'm like, "Yep." I didn't ask my wife. I didn't think about. I'm like, "Where's the best Airbnb?" I was like, "I'll book the Airbnb." I was on my phone right then and there booking the Airbnb. Didn't check with my wife. I was like, "Oh, okay." I looked at her like, "Hey, I'm going to the Masters."
Very
So
cool.
yeah, yeah, it was awesome.
So I've gotten to go twice. Shout out to Craig and Heather Parrish. They brought me and my wife two times. I believe it was 2015 and 2017, I believe it was. If I'm wrong on the years, that's on me. But both were practice rounds. One year was a Tuesday and the other one was a Wednesday. So I got the opportunity to
Mm,
go see the par three contest one year. I thought that was super cool to be able to be there on that small. And it's like you don't realize how small that piece of ground is where the par three course is. And it
yeah.
was the year that Tony Finau dislocated his ankle. Like he hit that
Oh,
hole in one.
Oh my
yeah.
God, really?
He dislocates his ankle. You don't even know it because you're just standing there and he just looked like he fell down. But at the exact
Oh,
same time, Jack Nicklaus's grandson got the hole in one. So if you remember that year, like on TV, it probably looked like two separate moments, but in real time on the course, they're literally side by side, two holes that are right next to each other, and those things happened at the same time, basically.
I
So
That's
I did
crazy.
not know they happened at the same time. That's crazy.
yeah, no, it was absolutely crazy.
I think the par
So
three contest is something that is underrated too this week. That's something I
mhm,
really enjoy watching and seeing. Like you'll see some of like obviously the kids are there, the wives are there. I think the wives are caddying some of the times, like,
yeah,
and then they get to hit shots. And I think it gives the players a personality and like just kind of makes everybody kind of humbled in like and watching them like they're one of us. And that's kind of cool to watch and watch all that interaction for sure.
No doubt. I
yeah,
mean, I
that,
think it makes it a family event.
Yeah.
There's no other golf tournament during the year
mm-mm,
to where people are tuning in to watch guys play a par three before the tournament with their kids and their wives and to just kind of see them interact and have a good time.
yeah. I tell you what, I'm gonna give you this question, Jesse. First time on property, what was the thing you kind of you had your oh shit moment? Like when they let you on the property, what was that for you?
Couple, honestly, I had a number of them.
Hmm.
So number one, like it was
Yeah.
literally like walking into Disney World. Like
Yep.
there's not a weed on the property. Like I'm literally
Hmm.
trying to find weeds. Like just so I can say I found a weed at Augusta National, and you literally cannot find weeds.
Hmm.
Um, the concession stand. It's the truth. When people kind of joke about the fact that the prices don't change at the Masters, I mean, I literally, you know, forgive the saying, but I was the fat kid in the candy store. I had one of everything at least while I was there. I mean, I tried every sandwich, I tried every ice
Same.
cream sandwich, I tried every beer they had. I mean, I made sure that I went through
Yep.
the whole menu because I didn't think I'd ever be there again. So I absolutely obliterated the concession stand. And then
Same.
the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting is like you just had like random celebrities. Like you were walking through the property and Paige Sporanic walked right next to me, or other
Hmm.
like well-known celebrities from like that are movie stars or that are in other sports. They want to watch just like we do. So I thought that was pretty amazing. And then the biggest one, I will tell you this, because it just popped in my head, is the bathrooms. They are literally
Ah,
cleaning the bathrooms constantly. Every time somebody
100%.
uses a urinal or a normal toilet, they are cleaning it. You are never using a toilet that somebody else used before you. They clean it every single
Like a
time.
Bucky's.
It's amazing.
But better.
You know, and obviously I've never been, but I think one of the coolest moments would be for me is walking around and you can see it on TV and there's no phones. No,
Hmm.
everybody is just in the moment. And I just can't imagine that feeling of just watching everybody be in the moment how much more people are paying attention to everything around them rather than worrying about what they're going to snap or what picture they're going to take or how they're going to look in the selfie. And that's also probably like what you said with celebrities just walking by. They don't have to worry. I mean, you don't
Yep.
have to. They're not asking for selfies or pictures or anything like that. They're just walking with everybody else and not have to worry about any of that stuff that they usually bother with on a day-to-day basis. So I think the phone thing is absolutely amazing, and I think more places and across the whole world should do that. But that's a topic for another day.
It's funny. I was thinking about it when you were talking. One of the things that I thought was really cool is I actually talked to one of the people that volunteered out there, and I had just asked him. I was curious. I said, how long have you volunteered, and what do you get for it? Because I've talked to a lot of people who volunteer out the players, and they give them a free round of golf at anytime they want to use it during the year. But for the Masters, for their volunteers, they have one day during the calendar year where they invite the volunteers there, and they get to play the par three course all they want, and then they get one round on the big course. But if that day, for whatever reason, if it's raining, if there's construction going on, whatever's happening, they don't get to play it, they don't make it up. And then I
Yep.
thought that was really cool about like the chef at Augusta National prepares all kinds of food for the volunteers and does all kinds of cool stuff for them. So it sounds like it's a pretty cool experience, but it also sounds like it's one of those things that's passed down generation to generation. So I think volunteering at the Masters is actually one of the maybe more difficult than actually getting a ticket to it.
Probably right.
Do you guys have like a favorite moment? I'll go to you, Wes, first, or first to you, Wes. But like, do you have something that sticks in your mind as something that's your favorite moment that you've seen at the Masters?
2019, Tiger won. Him hitting the shot into 16 and almost aced it. I about lost my mind at that point. I was at home. I jumped up off the couch and was literally screaming, like, let's go, Tiger. Like, he's gonna do it. It's the first time I've ever like jumped up for a golf tournament and was screaming at the TV and going nuts. Because I'm a Tiger guy. That was my guy. And to see him come back from what he was going through and win the thing. And if you go back and look at that leaderboard, it was the who's who. Like
Hmm.
everyone was there waiting to win that thing. And who knows if Tiger wasn't there, who would have won that? That was incredible. But that shot onto 16 when it was feeding down the hill, just lost it. That's
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 awesome.
my moment. That's my moment.
Mike?
I actually had written down Tiger in 19, but it wasn't on 16. Um, it was the last putt really on that day. We were actually
Mm,
that's the only other tin cup we've done that was during the Masters. This year will be also during the Masters, but that year we were in Amelia Island playing tin cup. And remember that year there were some big storms coming in on Sunday, so they moved everything up. So our plans of playing golf, the singles matches in the morning, and then going back to the house and watching the Masters all afternoon got thrown out the window. So we're
mhm.
scrambling, like what are we doing here? So I had my iPad and a little bracket we made, and we put it on the golf cart, and we're watching the whole thing. And we were sitting, we had just finished the round. We were sitting in the parking lot, still in the golf carts, and everybody's huddled around our golf cart, just screaming at this iPad, and we're like hugging each other. Like it's just like I'm like, we don't even know this guy, but it was the coolest thing. It was absolutely the coolest thing, and we're just. I think my tweet that day was, "I'm not crying, you're crying." Like it was just. I don't know why. I don't know, and I don't even know. Obviously, the circumstances of him being gone for so long and not winning, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this guy comes back and beats an incredible field, and you're just sitting there, just like, "Holy cow, he just did this!" Like it
Mhm.
just gave an inspiration to a bunch of people that it was just like, man. And that's why I think a lot of us too, looking at it now, it's like Tiger's gonna win another one. Tiger's gonna win another one because he's already done it to us once. So it's just, and he may not ever, but it was just the coolest thing. It brought us all back to like when we were growing up and watching him play and be what he was. Um, you know, however, 19 years after his peak,
Yeah.
it was absolutely incredible. Obviously, the
Yeah.
chip in on 16 was incredible. I mean, that's the highlight of probably all Masters, but that 19 was probably the more emotional highlight of anything that I've remembered.
Yeah.
Very cool. I would have to say like the thing that I remember the most is the 2004 Masters when Phil Mickelson won his first Masters. And I really wasn't an enormous golf fan at that point in time. I was still, still playing. I think I was right at the end of my baseball career. And like I was watching it with my dad. I was sitting on his couch watching it. And um, I just remember the back and forth between him and Ernie Els. Like on the back nine at Augusta, it was just, they were both just like, I mean, both, it wasn't that somebody lost it. Somebody had to go out and win it. And it was like
Hmm.
when Mickelson made that last putt to win it, it was just, I mean, you want to talk about kind of like a buzzer beater or anything else in sports, whether it's, a walk-off home run, whatever it is, it was that kind of a moment. And it was just it was one of the first things that really kind of made me become a professional golf fan. Not that I didn't want to play the game sometimes, but like that made me actually really interested in watching. And it actually became a fan watching it that day. So that was kind of one of the biggest memories I have of the Masters is sitting there watching that with my
And
dad.
that created his version of the Jumpman logo, right? I mean,
That's
that's the one
true.
where he's doing that. So
Yeah.
that was
Yep.
pretty big for his career as well. Hey Wes, you were talking about that
Yeah.
2019. I was just pulling it up, man. The top player: Woods, Schauffele, DJ, Koepka, Webb Simpson, Molinari, Day, Finau, Rahm, Fowler, Cantlay, Thomas,
Couple of
Bubba
people.
Watson, Ian Poulter. I mean,
I
Kuchar,
mean,
and then you get to Harding. I mean, that's the only one after that.
yeah.
Like, and it's just
It was a
crazy.
murderer's row. It
Uh,
was a murderer's
Molinari
row.
really, Molinari really
Yeah.
kind of
He did
choked
it
it
to
away there.
himself.
Yeah,
He did
but
it to himself.
two over on the last round there for him. That's not ideal.
All
No.
right, so let's shift gears here. Let's talk about this year's Masters. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up the fact that they had some pretty bad weather. They had Hurricane Helene kind of roll through Augusta, and it did impact the course. It made some changes this year. Wes, can you kind of talk us through a few of those changes that happened because of it?
Yeah, I think most of it, honestly, is they just lost a ton of trees. So you're not going to have the casting shadows on a lot of these greens. I think the most significant damage was to 16, where the tree, or was it multiple? One tree for sure went and basically destroyed the green. They had to redo it.
Hmm.
So obviously it's Augusta National. It's probably almost as identical as you can get.
Right.
But if you look at some of these pictures of how many trees and how different the backdrop looks, 10, if you look back toward the tee from 10 green where the scoreboard is off to the right from that perspective, I mean, it is like empty. It is crazy. And I remember walking down that tee and I was like, man, there's just a ton of trees here. And then I'm seeing this picture of it and I can't fathom like how different it's going to look. And it'll be interesting to see what it looks like on TV. I
Right.
would be interested to see what 12 is going to do with all the trees they lost. Is it going to swirl in there? I think that's going to be an interesting thing because they always talk about how much movement and then there is in the trees. You take a lot of trees out, are they actually going to be able to predict the wind this year? So those were the wind is going to be the big one, I think, with all the trees miss and how they're going to judge that.
Yeah.
TV
Well, and
is
it's
just going to
nature.
CGI trees. We'll never know watching it. It looks like a forest out there.
We're about there.
Right.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, we played this year's Master at the TGL place
Right.
down in West Palm Beach.
Uh,
Mike, do you think that the course benefits any particular type of golfer? Like when you've watched it through the years, do you think anybody has an advantage? Like one type of golfer has an advantage over another?
I mean, you really do have like a variety of winners, honestly. I think it does benefit a right to left. Kind of like that's why I think lefties with a little fade historically have done better than normal. But I think you got to be an outstanding putter and around the green. I mean, you have to. That's why Spieth was so good in his heyday there. He's just such a good scrambler around the green and getting it close because those greens are absolutely atrocious. Um, Now I am curious though because of the tree situation. Are people going to get in less trouble if they go through the fairway? There's certain areas there where you get through there and you got those pine straws, you're going to be blocked out a lot. You never know where there used to be a tree. All of a sudden, you got a nice little alley that you didn't have before. So
True.
that would be curious to see. I don't know how you can prove it or not, but people that are historians and know exactly where trees were and where they weren't are saying, well, this tree Tiger had to go around or Bubba had to go around. It's not there anymore. You could just go right at the green. Um,
Yeah,
so
the articles
that,
I was reading on that one, Mike, it looks like the trees that would dictate someone's shot, they replace those.
oh, of course. Yeah,
Shocker,
of
shocker.
course.
But I think
Yeah.
if you hit it way offline, you might have some more, you know, shots to the green if you're a little too far offline. So I think that's a good point. But from what I'm gathering in the articles I've read, it looks like they're like, oh, that tree needs to be there because it affected someone's shot into the green if they missed it too far right or left.
Right.
It sounds like they made sure those came back.
That is not
Shocker.
surprising at all. Not
Shocker.
surprising at all. But yeah, long story short, you got to be so good around that green. I think just some of the great putters in history obviously have been able to do so well there. So
Yeah. No, I mean, I think what I always find interesting, and it's the nature of any kind of a major sporting contest, is you have people, athletes, golfers, whatever, I mean, however you want to title them, that they always find their way, they always say the cream rises to the top, but it's like you've got people that are talented, that are very strong mentally, that every single year they seem to find their way at least to the top 15, top 10 at Augusta. And it's like like you said, they play the same course every year. They know it. The more they play it, the more they get to know it. And then it's just that mental fortitude. It's that toughness that people have where they decide, like I'm not going to be surprised if Scotty Scheffler is in the top, the top 10, top 5 if he doesn't win it, because
Yeah.
he's just that guy who's going to refuse to not be there. You look at guys like Phil Mickelson, and it's like, Mickelson is 50 something years old at this point in time, but he will figure out a way how to make the cut, and his name will be mentioned on Sunday,
yeah,
even if he's not in the top 5, he'll be there
Yeah.
because he knows the course, and he wants to do well there.
I
But
mean, look at
Yeah.
Kepka. He came in last year in terrible form, and he pushed it all the way to Sunday. I mean,
sure,
Yeah.
he's just, and he's also one of those guys that's mental in all majors, but
Hmm.
um, he just, it's something about the course, and it's just like, hey, this is one of those where you got horses for like you've got to be a great player, but the mental aspect, like you mentioned, man, it's huge.
I just don't feel like this is a place where you see not to call back too far in the past, but you're not going to see like a Fred Funk that's going to be able to win the Masters. It just doesn't happen. Like he's not hitting short enough clubs into those greens, and those greens are crazy. I mean, they've got crazy
Yeah.
undulation, and they're you got to get to the right part of them to make putts.
Yeah. I think your strokes gained tee to green is going to be the big one picking out a winner on this one. I think what a lot of people don't realize is you got these massive greens out there, but you only have very small, like mini greens inside
Right.
those. So if you're not on the right side of one of those swales or know how to use the swales, and I think course knowledge comes into this, you're in for a long day. Like that, it's not fun. But if you look at the past winners, think it was like the past 7 I saw, like their strokes gained tee to green was like unbelievable. And they're also playing well coming into the tournament. So having a little bit of confidence, being a ball striker, that to me, that's the key ingredient to winning that thing. You've just got to be so good. And now that they lengthen it so much, and I know these guys are long, but they still have to hit it straight. Like you just can't blow it all over the map at Augusta and expect to win. You can contend, but sometimes you just can't win. You need the Eagles when you need them on the back, and got to birdie the par fives. And yeah, I think ball striking to me is like the number one thing there.
No doubt. All right. With that said, I'm going to flip it over to you, Mike. You can kind of go through who we got because we're making picks just like we did just like we did for the players. And like I said, I'm not going to mess this up. I'm going to flip it over to you.
I got you. So we're missing 2 guys, obviously, from our players, but we went ahead and let them kind of send me their picks. So we're still going to do this in an order, so we can kind of go over it. But I'll kind of announce their picks when they come up. So we'd randomize the order. We've changed things a little bit from the players. We're doing 2 players. Doesn't matter if they're long shots or not. And once you use one now, you cannot use them the rest of the year. And you can't repeat somebody else's pick. So it's an advantage if you go first, pick a player, nobody else can pick him that day. And it's a snake draft, so the 5th person, which this time was me, gets to pick 2 times in a row and then come back around. So with that said, oh, and we also changed the points for this. So we're just going straight earnings. So it's an easiest thing to figure out. If this guy earned 500,000 for this tournament, that's how many points you get for that tournament. So it's pretty easy to do. If you miss the cut, better luck next time. So with that said, the first pick randomly went to Wes.
Yes, I am going with the man who's going to complete the career Grand Slam this week. I'm going Rory McIlroy, even though he's got a bum elbow. I'm going with Rory.
I mean, that's obviously that. I think that probably would have been all of our first picks. But he's
no shocker, no shocker.
And he's coming. Here's the difference this year between the past. He's coming in form. He's coming in hitting it very well. This is the first time in his career he's coming into the Masters with multiple wins on the PGA. So we'll see. He's gonna be hard to beat. Jesse, you're next.
Don't mention the fact that he's blown the Masters before. You might get kicked out of the tournament. So
yeah, right.
So true.
Well, Jesse, you got pick number 2.
So I picked Bryson DeChambeau. Bryson, whether there's truth to this whole thing where Live Golf owns his YouTube channel or not, I feel like this guy's kind of got a chip on his shoulder lately, and he feels like he's got something to prove. He laid out of that whole creator classic that they did last week for Live. He went out and played pretty darn solid at Doral, and they set up Doral pretty darn tough. The guy he's hitting it a mile. He's pretty accurate with his wedges and irons right now. I think he's got as good a shot at anybody, and so I'm going with Bryson.
Yeah, he's really become a complete player and complete person in the world of golf here recently. So I like that pick.
For sure.
So Blakely had the 3rd pick, and he was actually my pick. This is who I wanted, and it's exactly what Wes just said and kind of proved my point. Number 1 tee to green and number 1 approach in the PGA Tour this year, and that's Colin Morikawa, and that's who Blakely got. I think this is the year for him. I think if he's going to win the Masters, he's coming in here as hot as anybody else, and especially for this course. And he's always done well in this course, though. So Blakely picks him. Shelton comes in with the other favorite. It was Scotty Scheffler. Obviously, I mean, you're using him now, just like Rory, and you're done with him. But I mean, how can you not pick him for the Masters?
I mean, he's okay.
And not only that, I mean, just like Rory, these guys, the chances of them missing the cut are pretty damn low.
Don't say that now. Don't put that.
I didn't pick him, so I can say
it. Yeah, but you put Rory in the mix too. I'm like, don't do that.
I meant favorites. So Shelton went with Scotty Scheffler, and then I had back-to-back picks here. My first one was I went the next favorite, and that's Ludwig Oberg. His first I don't think it was his first Masters last year.
Yeah, it was his first Masters. First Masters, first major.
And he was second.
Impressive.
I mean, just played. And he actually it wasn't like he had this unbelievable round. He was just solid the entire 4 rounds. Just playing
Yep.
great golf. Had a real good opportunity there at the end and just, couldn't do it. But he's such a good player
Stud.
this year. He's not he's missed a couple cuts, so there's a little bit of that worry. But I think like Jesse said earlier, such a mental game that these guys just step up when they have to.
Yeah.
So my other pick on my back-to-back picks here was Xander. That's kind of a risk. I really wanted to go Fleetwood here, but I think Xander's is due. He may be better end of the year, which that's the only reason I didn't want to do it because I think he's just going to get better as the year goes.
Yeah.
But he could come up there, and he's usually somebody that's just going to sneak in that top 15, top 10. So I'm using him only as, hey, I need to get some points here, and I feel like he's going to be good enough to at least get me a top 15. So that was my
Yeah.
pick. Back to Shelton, went with Brooks Koepka. Obviously, it's a major, so why wouldn't you? Um, I don't know how
I
he's
agree.
playing because I don't really watch a ton of Live. But that's obviously a great pick for any major.
He played
Yes.
solid last weekend. Not
All right,
not
Yeah.
terrible, not great, but solid.
gotcha. And then Blakely went with Cam Smith. A little bit of a surprise. You haven't heard much of Cam Smith. I even as
I
Live, I
was
don't.
surprised on that one.
See him
Yeah,
out in the intercoastal fishing.
I do. I've driven by his house many a times on the way to the yards. But I obviously he's got the game for it. I mean, him and Scheffler went toe to was it toe to toe? Was that? It wasn't last year, 2 years ago maybe. But
Oh
they were
no.
head to head
Yeah,
there.
2 years. Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep. That was a great Masters,
Hey,
by the
you
way.
said it. You said it. The guy can putt. I mean, the guy can putt the eyes out of it. Like, and it's. I
Absolutely.
mean, so he's got a putter's chance anytime he gets on a golf course.
Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. I mean, that's I think that's one of the keys around here. So we're back to Jesse for the ninth pick, and then Wes will wrap us up with the last pick. Jesse,
Yeah, yeah. So I picked Jordan Spieth here, and who knows? Honestly, like this
speaking
is
of
one of
putting,
those. I feel like he's a guy. He played so well, like you said, and it was one of those things. You said it earlier when you said in his heyday, but it's like God, as a guy who's. I mean, is he even 30? Or and if he
yeah,
is, he's
that's
barely 30. It's like,
Yeah.
and this guy we're talking about. I'm like, oh, back in his day or back when he was good, and it's like I know the guy's had some life events where he's had children or he's had, he got married, but I feel like he's one of those guys. I mean, he's gonna get it back at some point in time, and why not this week?
I
he's young
mean,
enough. He's young enough to have
yeah.
another heyday.
I mean,
100%.
I think because it was, I mean, God, it wasn't that long ago, but it was that long ago in golf. Like, we're talking about this guy winning the Grand Slam.
Yes.
I mean, at his age and how great he was. And I mean, still is. It's there. It's just, wrist injury and whatnot. But I
Think
mean,
if he doesn't lay
anytime.
sod over the ball, if he doesn't lay sod over the ball in the Masters
Oh,
where
yeah.
he's leading at 12,
Oh
like
It's
man,
over. It's
right.
over.
And
Yeah.
does he go on this little downhill, spiral that he went on? Like, I mean, maybe his career has a different trajectory if he doesn't have that terrible finish that one year at the Masters.
I mean, that is such a great point because he was on his way to roll. If he would have got out of Amen corner unscathed, it was game over.
Right.
Like,
Mhm.
I don't think, no chance he gets caught. None.
yeah, kind of like we mentioned with Molinari that year. He did the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeesh. All right, Wes, wrap it up with the last pick here.
I know this guy has not won on U.S. soil, but he is our fairway Jesus. Let's go with Tommy Fleetwood. Let's go. Top 10 will make a run, I think. He's due. He's a great ball striker. You just got to love Tommy Fleetwood. I like his swing. I like his game. And like I said, he's our fairway Jesus. So let's ride with
And
him.
my one and only signature
Nice.
on the player's flag here.
All
So,
right. All
well,
right, boys,
yeah.
it's
So,
memorialized.
Yes,
yep,
it
that's
is.
it. Yeah, I mean that player's flag, man. He was the only guy that gave me a signature, probably because I wasn't 10. And I'm like, you know what? I got Tommy's signature. I love Tommy Fleetwood. He has a really good chance to win the players. Screw it. I'm just putting it away. I'm not even gonna get any other signatures. He didn't win, but it's fine.
It would, man,
It
it would have
still
been
looks good.
something if he did.
It still looks good. All right,
Yes.
guys. So
Absolutely.
you got Altis with Rory and Tommy. Stakes got Bryson and Jordan. Blakely with Morikawa, Cam Smith, Shelton with Scotty and Brooks. And I've got Oberg and Xander. That'd be great. 2 4-man scrambles, right? 5-man scrambles. Beautiful.
Would not be bad.
No.
All right, boys. Anything you guys got anything before we wrap it up?
No,
I'm
I'm
good.
just I'm super excited about this week, man. And then we get to, hopefully the weather holds and we actually get to watch the back nine of the Masters together while we're up at Macklemore with the victorious Team Europe.
Amen to that. I'm
Yeah,
excited
since
we get to watch it together. That's going to be cool.
We don't have any
Yes.
Team USA guys on here, so we can say that.
I would have said it anyway.
And that'll be exciting to kind of talk about Tin Cup and the Masters kind of all in one, and talk about Macklemore, talk about all that while we're there. That would be something we haven't done before, and I think would be pretty informational and just a cool experience for us to all do this kind of in person and together. And I think Sunday we should be we'll be done by 1 o'clock. So, we're gonna watch most of that
Oh, yeah.
Sunday.
We get to see the
Sundays.
leaders for
So,
sure because they won't tee off
absolutely.
until like 2, I think,
Yeah.
2:45-ish.
Yeah,
So we
Mickelson
get
will
to-
probably go out and shoot like a 62 on Sunday after
Yeah,
barely
finish
making the cut.
backdoor. He'll backdoor a ninth finish.
Yeah, he'll backdoor a top 10 for sure. So,
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a Zoom recorder sitting in the middle of the kitchen table. We got a live microphone, way too much alcohol. I don't know what'll be said, and I don't know how much of it'll be able to be used, but it'll be a lot of fun.
We'll just put a
Love it.
parental advisory on this one and get our hands slapped later. We'll ask for forgiveness after the fact.
Fair enough.
absolutely.
All right, boys. Cheers. Enjoyed it.
Cheers, man.
Cheers,
See y'all in
gentlemen.
North Georgia.
Yes,
See you
sir.
soon.
Couple days, boys.